A supermaximum prison is a facility where inmates deemed too dangerous to themselves or other inmates are housed. It's basically a normal American jail, but it houses inmates deemed too dangerous to be part of regular society. The last federal supermax and the harshest prison in the nation is home to some very violent individuals. Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. We're coming at you with another video on inside the life of a supermax prison guard. This is CrimeFlicks, your #1 stop for crime stories. Well, here we go. Joaquin El Chapo Guzman, a gangster within the so-called Alcatraz of the Rockies, is simultaneously predictable and surprising. Officials at the Federal Bureau of Prisons had to cope with a significant issue before the idea of an ultra-secure maximum security jail emerged. How would they deal with some of the most ferocious and hazardous criminals? The individuals who, in 1983, showed that they were a problem for everyone around them. Members of the Aryan Brotherhood fatally stabbed correction officers named Thomas Silverstein and Clayton Fountain. The Federal Bureau of Prisons Director Norman Carlson argued for a new type of establishment within which the most unmanageable inmates could be isolated from correctional officers and other captives for safety and security reasons. Merle Klutz and Robert Puffman were stabbed inside Marion Penitentiary, and the stabbings were attributed to inadequate prison layout. Now, if you break a serious rule, ask for protection, or are deemed too young to be in prison's overall population, or you choose not to work or start writing literature that challenges the institutional narrative, criticizes, or otherwise you become enraged by a prison official, take a part in a work strike, food strike, yard sit-down, or any other form of group demonstration, if you engage in any of those behaviors, it can determine whether or when you're released. There's no time limit on how long you can be detained, unless it's for a significant rule violation or brand new offense, which usually comes with more or less standardized tours in Supermax. If jail officials want, they can keep you there indefinitely. Some inmates are in such a situation. You know you're parked even if you're not one of them. In a supermax, no administrative procedure is expected other than the guard's ability to employ force against convicts. A pair of guards will show up at your cell door every 30 days to escort you to review. Your wrists are fastened with handcuffs and a leash is attached to you through a port. They'll tell you to get down on the cell floor and turn your back to the door. They bind your ankles with leg chains and pull you to your feet when the door opens. The security guards lead you down a long, white tile-lined corridor through 2 large security gates of thick steel. They lead you into a hearing room, which is stark but unsettling given the even starker surroundings you're currently in. Here they have windows, chairs, and people. Solitary confinement's a constant pulse of sounds of lunacy. Many jail managers are seated at a conference table larger than the cell you just left. They're sitting in cozy office chairs with laptops in front of them. You're staying if you hear the term retain at any point throughout the hearing, although almost every prisoner does at nearly every hearing. You could be compelled to make an effort to persuade those seated nearby to alter their opinions, but it usually won't make a difference. Before you walked into the room, they'd already made the decision, and they stated they won't change it. So what do you guys think about this? Subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon to receive notifications whenever new crime-related videos are posted. And now let's move on. Zarnev would join other terrorists in the H Unit, the Special Security Unit. These cells are set aside for prisoners subject to extraordinary administrative measures imposed by the DOJ and designed to restrict all outside contact severely. Only a prisoner's immediate family and legal counsel are allowed to visit. Inmates are seated on the opposite side of a glass window. They communicate on the telephone. Legal discussions and correspondence with attorneys are considered privileged, private, and unmonitored. In prison, you get ration books. You're given 2 random paperbacks each week, chosen by the guard. A routine is developed. You take 3.5 steps forward, followed by 3.5 backwards. Now, suppose you entered IMU in good health and strength. You may not remain that way. You don't consume enough calories, get enough fresh air, sunlight, or other nutrients for good health. You become skeletal, nervous, and anemic. And if you stop moving, then you get doughy, pale, and fragile. You care for your health as best you can and don't worry about what you can't accomplish. If you do survive the encounter, it won't be your body that will carry you through it. The muffled cries and internal squirming that started the instant they locked you in that cell and haven't stopped for a single second since they're hidden beneath the mask of your face. Yet whether or not the guards in prison bother to acknowledge it, you're trapped in a close relationship with torture. The agony is not at all lessened by numbing your senses, severing a piece of yourself. Rather, it's only made more bearable by leaving a gap inside. If you can do so, enable yourself to learn how to respond without acting. But it would be best if you had a good reason to put up with the experience. Notwithstanding what the prison has done to you, you're still what you are, a human being. No human being can survive without reason. Your rage serves as a defense mechanism against the depths of suicidal ideas. When such inmates enter the general populace, you'll recognize them. They're short-lived. They usually end up returning to IMU for irrational, frequently unprovoked acts of violence that are outrageous and incomprehensible to anyone who hasn't been subjected to protracted solitary confinement in a SUPERMAX. Prisoners released from IMU straight to the streets have an even worse recidivism prospect. These are the ones who nearly right away conduct a violent crime that society finds inexplicable. If you're in SUPERMAX, you have a desire to escape inside, and every other prisoner in this nation who has survived solitary also does. You react angrily, flinch, or lash out without even thinking when someone touches you without asking permission or making an excuse. The experience transports you back to IMU, where the only contact you had was being chained or leashed and then probed, prodded, yanked, or dragged by the guards in the direction they wanted you to go. The reasons you behave in this certain way or die are mysterious to others. The general public should familiarize themselves with the SUPERMAX experience because they don't realize the daily incidents that occur to you when you're in confinement. And that's all the information about the world's worst prison. Thanks for watching this video. If you liked it, please remember to like and subscribe to CrimeFlicks. We'll see you later.